Okie dokie, let's go and jump some rank games with a random character and see what we're going to get today. And it looks like we are playing the Ranger. We do start off with a Divine Basket as well as our customer card. So we're going to get sales as well as potentially some higher value items. Now starting off with a spear is kind of nuts. I'm also going to take you to Arms of Darkness. Not bad. Definitely not bad. Now I'm going to put this in as I roll and we can immediately trade for Gooberts. Now the question is, do we want to take that Gooberts? Maybe. Because getting early Gooberts, if we get Slime Time, we have the potential to go for Rainbow Gooberts. I'm going to take it. Let's take the garlic. Let's take this too. Let's go and take our broom. We roll again. And it does mean we want to craft up a hero sword. Which means probably need some extra storage, but this is going to be around 1. So, Arms of Darkness would like to target both our weapons, to be honest, but it is going to have to sit in here, targeting just our broom and our Gooberts. But hey, that's some big old damage and awesome. That was kind of nice actually. Let's grab our storage. Let's go ahead and grab our wooden sword and let's go ahead and craft this up. Now this can actually sit in much better in this spot, but yeah, whetstone, maybe not so much. I'm going to roll again though. I'm wondering, should we grab ourselves a bunch of little shard bows? I'm kind of down for it. But let's also grab ourselves a little bit more storage. I'm going to craft up the steel gooberts and we could end up going for a bunch of little squirrel archers around our steel goobert. That could potentially be a lot of fun. But hey, can we beat this big old berserker? Hell yeah we can. Spear's awesome weapon starting off. Now we did get Slime Time, so we can potentially go for Rainbow Gooberts. And that's exactly what I'm going to go for. Hell yeah, we're taking it. And holy moly, that's crazy Gooberts. I've actually never seen this much Gooberts already, which is madness. Let's go ahead and grab as much storage as possible to fit all these Gooberts in. I'm actually thinking about moving on with this. So we're going to have our spear into the dead center along with our Slime Time to speed it up. Because every time our Slime Time does activate, it's going to give 2 activations to our Goobert because it'll advance all Gooberts by 1, but then also be an activator for a Goobert. So having it in the dead center is exactly what we want. But let's get moving on with this. I'd like to have another hero sword though to go for Falcon Blade, because Falcon Blade is the king with some Gooberts. And you know what? The sheer amount of heals we do have is kind of nuts. Definitely so. With the amount of Gooberts we do have, it's kind of nuts. Now we are running out of stamina since we know big old banana, but hell yeah. Not bad. And that's a card. That is one of the ingredients we do need. It's also Unsettling Presence, which will deal 30% of our healing as damage. But it will use up a random buff. Do we have any buffs right now? Not exactly actually. But I mean, I do really want this fella because he is going to be awesome for us. Unsettling Presence because it is a fast activator. I'm going to take it. Also gives our Gooberts some damage as well. Now probably want to grab ourselves healing herbs so we can start off with some buffs. The card as well as another fast activator, but I did decide to move on with this because our spear's not going to be activated on our steel goobert, but we should be able to get that scaling damage on the steel or on our spear. I think this could be our best outcome. And you know what, our opponent does have a tiger room, but they're using it on a bow and arrow. They could get a lot of buffs if they didn't have it in, but they are scaling up their Fan Prison with it. But Fan Prison doesn't work with ranged weapons, but hell yeah. And they could also just go for King Gooberts as well by taking the box of riches. But let's take our card. Let's take our card, let's go ahead and take our region as well. I'm going to take the gloves since it's on sale. We can also potentially go for Claws Attack. That's a wooden sword. Those are a little goobling. Now we do want to take as much gooblings as possible. But I'm also going to reserve the wooden sword just in case we get ourselves another whetstone. Because going for Falcon Blade is probably going to be our best weapon for the Gooberts. All we need is one tiny little goobling and we should have enough Gooberts to craft up Rainbow Gooberts. And then all we need to find is 1 carrot, 1 bloody amulet, as well as a lightsaber. And holy moly, did we win that round. That's for sure. Let's take our wooden sword, let's take more regen, set of blueberries, we roll again. That's literally card Gooberts. How insane is this actually? We grab our storage and we grab our stone. But I'm going to venture on with this. I'm going to venture on really quickly. We're going to get our card Goobert online. It means no more heals from this Goobert, but we're going to scale up damage like there's no tomorrow. Now Claws Attack with the Pandemonium is going to be a lot of flat damage. Also going to inflict a ton of poison on us, but hell yeah, Goobert's just keeping us in it. Not bad. Now that's also crits. Now we got a couple of options. So we can go Belladonna's Whisper, we can go Poison Spear, we can go Hunger Blade and get rid of a little shard bow, but the spear's pretty good in this spot. How about we grab our storage, we take out a little shard bow, we grab this, and we take the crits next round. But I think we rock on with this. And we are going to be running out of stamina like there's no tomorrow, but we are going to get a ton of lifesteal, which is definitely going to keep us in it. It's going to transform all our regen into vampirism, keeping us more healthy as we scale up our damage with our Crafted Gooberts. And we are going to lose a lot of buffs with our unsettling presence, which means our vampirism is going to be gone by the garlic, as well as our unsettling presence, and potentially some of our empower as well. But that's also going to keep us healthy. Our spear is dealing almost 30 damage max hit. It's kind of nuts. But our opponent is keeping alive with heavy drinking, all the strong health pots, and unfortunately, the sheer amount of vampirism they do have just definitely beat us out. There's not much we could have done about that. Now here's the thing. Big Bowl of Treats is crazy good. Because of the text, all your pets have a 20% chance to activate twice. It also speeds up all our food items, and we can find some pets. I'm gonna take it. Over the other options, it does give us a hedgehog if you want to. You know, I'm going to take this out because I don't want to dilute the pool too much. And we could get rid of our spear and just take a fancy fencing rapier. I mean, this weapon is just going to be a huge upgrade for us. We also probably need a stamina stack, but again, I'm going to venture on with this. So at least if we get some luck, which we're probably not going to get to, because even if we do get a little bit, our unsettling presence is going to pretty much get rid of it. Now, our Big Bowl of Treats can potentially give us a crazy absurd different buffs. 2 random buffs, which can be our luck, it can be empower, can be spikes, can be any of these buffs. So it should be pretty good for us. The unsettling presence deals that effect damage, and we should be able to maybe inflict some debuffs with our Amulets of Darkness. But our opponent is keeping up because they've got crazy absurd amount of lifesteal, and they're scaling their vampirism with Little Chestnut. And can we win out? Because this is actually going to be neck and neck. I'm going to say neck and neck, I mean our spear dealt a 90 crit. Now we could go for our own Bloodthorn right now. Is Bloodthorn going to be a better weapon? I'm not sure if it really is. We kind of want multiple weapons hidden to activate multiple Gooberts. I'm going to take this, I'm going to get rid of our spear. And we could keep this for a little Squirrel Archer, which I'm kind of tempted for, but I'm going to sell it. Take this out, grab our storage, we roll once, place this back in, and that is a big old and practically large greatsword. Now I'm going to sell the gloves and the stone, and we're going to take this and I'm going to let it offer it up by itself. Is there anything else we kind of want to get rid of? I mean, we could get rid of our amulet. It's kind of nice, but at the same time, it's kind of falling off right now. Is it not? I think I'm just going to rock on with this. Just going to let it recombobulate itself. But at least with the fancy rapier, it should be a lot more damage. It's going to scale up our luck, but then also use up our luck, which is not ideal either. But it's just going to be a lot more damage than a freaking spear. And not looking too bad for us. Hell yeah. Awesome even. Now, what's it going to give us? A pair of boots and a stone. But we can actually go ahead and grab ourselves the blood manipulation right now. So we can scale up our vampirism, also deal 15% of our healing as damage, along with our unsettling presence. And a Rainbow Goobert is going to heal us for an insane amount. So that's exactly what we want. Don't necessarily want Echo Battle Cry. Acorn, Ace could be kind of nice, but again, we're going to take this. And that's one of our Gooberts. Hell yeah. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to spend the rounds crafting up a red color. I'm going to take this out as I continue to roll. I'm looking at this fanny pack, kind of tempted to take it. That's a Goobert on sale with another little tiny Goobling, which I'm going to have to take. You know, I'm going to sell the boots. I'm going to take this Goobert, and I kind of want to take the banana. I'm going to keep this Goobert in our backpack for now, as I craft up this red color and as we craft up another big old Goobert. We'll see how we get on with this one for now. Our opponent does have Excalibur with offensive fencing rapiers, so we're going to have lots of damage, and we could be in trouble because we're going to be activating food items, especially with the broccoli. Broccoli with defensive fencing rapier seems kind of awesome actually. But are we going to be able to keep up because they have some insane amount of max life? And unfortunately, it's looking like we're going to bleed this life. And it is. But we should be able to get ourselves a red color, and a Gooberts, and storage. All in all, it's kind of looking amazing. Let's grab the banana. We roll again. That's lightsaber. I mean, that's Rainbow Goobert right now. definitely going to have a Rainbow Goobert. That's awesome. So now we have a little bit of a problem because I do want our fancy fencing rapier in, but I'm thinking about moving on with something like this. Is this going to be our best outcome though? We should be able to activate this Goobert with both our weapons, activate our card Goobert with all these items. Steel Goobert should be in a pretty good spot as well. I think I'm tempted to grab the bird so we can speed up everything as well, but I'm also tempted to just keep rolling. We could go Frostbite since we're going to have some scaling Vampirism with our blood manipulation. I mean, maybe I do want to grab it. I'm going to sell it, and I will be taking him. Let's sell a stone, let's roll once. That's another little tiny little goobling I'm going to take. And with that, I'm going to venture on. So red color is going to be the worst spot. But we're going to be getting our Rainbow Gooberts. We're probably going to lose this round. Potentially, we do inflict a lot of blinds. But our opponent does have a fancy fencing rapier with the eye lamp, which means this 8 blind is not going to do anything whatsoever. And it just uses up our regen, so we don't get a vampirism. So yeah, it's not great whatsoever. That is a smelly wall with the most amount of garlics I think I've ever seen. And they're scaling up insane block from it with the amount of feasting. Holy moly, that was kind of nuts. Definitely nuts. But we should have got our 2 Gooberts crafted up. Let's grab our tiny little goobling. It's going to grab you. Let's roll. And so we changed the whole set around, and I think we have the best position that we can possibly have. With our card Goobert being in the center, actually the garlic being in the worst position of all time. This is much better. But card Goobert being in the center of our whole builds, being activators from our slime time most of all, along with our food items. Now, having a blue Goobert's possibly not the worst, or not the best I mean, but slime time being a trigger for both of these is kind of nice actually. Light Goobert possibly in the worst spot we could have it, but it is what it is, and then Steel Goobert still giving damage to our Hunger Blade. With our crits in the spot, giving crits to all these items. Now, I'm tempted to grab the Man-Hour, but I'm also tempted just to roll. And I'm also tempted to grab that. Hell yeah, I'm going to grab it. With that, I'm going to keep venturing. And I'm not sure if we want any of these items. I want to keep our wooden sword because I want to go for a prismatic sword on top of everything. But we are going to move on. Now, if we win this round, it's going to be insane for us. Because usually when you get to this point, crafting up the Rainbow Goobert is where you actually get turbo smashed. But we do inflict some blinds, and it's not looking too bad. Now, bird actually would have been pretty good because we would be taking their luck. And you know what? We might actually win this one out. We got tons of healing, we deal tons of on-healing damage and smashing. We actually did manage to win out. We got ourselves our Rainbow Gooberts. Hell yeah. Now this bad boy is going to heal for 40, gives 20 block, gives 2 vampirism, also gives 2 empower, and inflict 3 blind. But also our weapons gain 4 damage, so we might as well have in an extra weapon, which is going to give us lifesteal and crits also. I'm also tempted to grab ourselves an island to scale up our accuracy because one way we do end up losing out is if we don't hit our opponents. Especially being on sale, I'm going to grab it with another stamina sack too, but I'm going to roll again. And Corrupted Crystal in armor could be kind of nice because we will be inflicting quite a few debuffs. But I'm just going to keep rolling. That's Prismatic Orb. Prismatic Sword is definitely going to be a huge win con for us. And speaking of a huge win con, we're going to craft up a Rat Chef right now. Now, I was actually thinking about moving on with this, so we have our blood manipulation in the spot. We are missing 2 slots on our Rainbow Goobert right now. But I do think we should be in a pretty good spot with this setup, because blood manipulation is going to be going as fast as possible. In the spot, we should be able to get our crits on our weapons, we should be able to scale up our damage. And yeah, we're going to be rocking on with this. Actually, might as well grab the customer card to try and grab as much prismatic orbs as possible, because we want to get infinite vampirism for our frostbite. And we are facing a cold stacking build. Now, one way we do lose is if we get slowed down by quite a bit. That's also really bad for us. And we got tons and tons of debuffs, which is amazing actually. And that's massive damage. Hell yeah. Rainbow Goobert seems kind of strong, does it not? Well, it is Rainbow Goobert. What am I to expect? 68 DPS being frostbite on healing damage on top of everything. Wooden sword even doing 10 DPS. Imagine if we had hardwood in this build. That'd be kind of awesome too. In terms of heals, we did manage about a 70 healing per second, 68 actually. With a 14 max life gained. And in terms of block, we actually managed 164 block. I mean, I'm definitely going to continue on. We got a freaking Rainbow Gooberts. We got a Rat Chef as well. And we're definitely going Prismatic Sword. Now, would like to take the blood amulet right now, but I'm just gonna roll. We could trade up a prismatic orb for a stone golem, which would be mad. You know what? I'm gonna take this little goobling, and I'm gonna venture on once again.
Okay.
Now, this prismatic orb is gonna be slightly horribly placed. I'm gonna say slightly. I mean, it's possibly in the worst position, but once you get a prismatic sword, we're gonna stack all the prismatic items around it. Our Rainbow Goobert is a vampiric holy item, which means it's gonna get scaling damage and a bunch of lifesteal. And we should be able to deal even more damage, and amazing. Hell yeah. Now I did say I wanted our little tiny goobling. I'm going to place it in right there for now. But with our prismatic sword, we do have 5 vampiric items, which will give us 75% lifesteal. But only a tiny bit of scaling damage, so we want to keep our eyes open for any type of holy item. Divine Pot is a holy item. Not the one I was looking for though. 7 golds to grab ourselves some scaling damage on our prismatic sword. It is quite a bit. But you know what? I might actually take it. I'm also going to grab this fanny pack too. And we're going to keep rolling. And you know what? I'm going to take this freaking bloody amulet to get even more lifesteal. But we did move our blood manipulation down to this position. So it's not going to be as fast. But it's going to give that lifesteal to a prismatic sword. So now we got 0.6 damage scaling on every hit with a prismatic sword. However, we are facing one of the meta Reaper builds, being the snake with the King Gooberts, and a rock and stone armor to remove a lot of our power. We actually have 45% of our on healing as damage, which means the lifesteal from a prismatic sword is going to do crazy damage. On top of all the damage scaling, and amazing. I mean, Rainbow Gooberts definitely smashing out for us. And speaking of smashing out for us, and it's a prismatic orb. It does mean we get our lifesteal. We also have an increased chance of like debuffs. We also get even more scaling damage. And do we even want Bloody Amulet? I think I'm still going to take the Bloody Amulet, but I'm going to move on pretty darn quickly from this. We should be able to get our Vampirism from the rip. Give us 5 Vampirism and making our Frostbite deal some big old damage also. They also give us crits with a red collar. We don't get our lifesteal since we have no luck, which is a little bit unfortunate. But I think we should still be able to keep up. When I say keep up, I mean do crazy damage. Awesome. I mean, we're flying through these rounds. Now, I don't think I'll ever take this trade, Prismatic Sword for a Holy Spear. Definitely not. However, I will take this and potentially craft up another red collar. And with that, I'm going to venture on, and we could finally grab a bird. I'm going to sell you to go ahead and grab it. Let's roll one more time. And with a bird, we're going to speed up all these items. Mostly just a Prismatic Sword as much as possible. So yeah, we're going to venture on with this. We're going to speed up all the items except our Frostbite because we don't want to speed up too much of our weapons because we will be running out of stamina. And we are facing a hammer, brass knuckles, which means they're going to try to stun us quite often, but they're at 50% accuracy. With a bird, we're going to be taking a lot of their luck, and it's not going to be close. 120 on crit. Not bad. Then we got a red collar, which should be even better. Another bloody amulet, shiny shell, and more storage. Now the problem we do have with a red collar is I'd love to place it in beside a Frostbite as well as our Prismatic Sword. But I think we're just going to prioritize our Prismatic Sword. You should also be able to increase your healing efficiency with a shiny shell. We could also move this slightly over and scale up, have our scaling damage. The Prismatic Sword scale up the damage even faster. But I'm going to roll again. And do we want to grab ourselves another rat? Possibly not, because we won't be able to craft open that rat chef either way. I'm also tempted to grab ourselves an Unidentified Amulet because Amethyst Steel would also go nuts in this build since we stack up some block. But I'm just going to continue to roll. I will take a tiny bit of luck because each luck is going to be some lifesteal. We roll again. I kind of want to take the extra little goobling, but there's not much we can really take, unfortunately. So this is it. This is going to be final builds. I want to keep every single item that we do have, and I didn't expect to get a Rainbow Goobert online honestly so smoothly, because every time I try to go for Rainbow Goobert in ranked, it's usually down to 1 life, and it's usually trying to craft it up into that 1 life that you kind of fail. But I started off by taking that trade offer in the first round to get that Goobert, into finding as much little tiny Gooberts as possible, and also finding other Gooberts on sale as well. But I had a Prismatic Sword into the Rainbow Goobert as well, since it is both a vampiric as well as a holy item along around setting presence, so we can deal a ton of on-healing damage with an Amulet of Darkness, which means our on-healing damage is also inflicting those debuffs. So along with the blinds, we can inflict poison and cold for our Frostbite to deal that damage. So overall, I actually definitely a pretty good build. But will it be enough to win our final rounds? Are we going to be able to lose with a Rainbow Gooberts? And one way we do lose is if we get smashed insanely fast, because that's a lot of empower with damage steel and a dragon with knife to meet you, and we could be stunned. And we could actually lose this because we did get stunned. We don't have any burst defense, so we could, honestly, that stun might have won the game for our opponents, and we actually lost with a Rainbow Goobert. Holy moly. Well, that's on me. I didn't take any helmets, that's for sure. We didn't take any stun prevention, no freaking defenses down. Our opponents did have 140 DPS, which is madness, but they had so much power and had dragons along with knife to meet you, and they managed to get 1 to 3 stuns off for 1.5 seconds of this 6.5 second long fight. We only managed about a 40 DPS, and most of it was on healing damage. We didn't get a chance to scale up any of our buffs. With the stuns, we don't activate our Gooberts since we don't activate any of our items, and we actually managed to lose out because of that, which is kind of funny. Definitely so. In terms of heals though, we did manage about a 70 heal per second, so you can imagine if this goes full on, it would absolutely destroy. But again, no helmets means no burst defense, means being smashed immediately. And we kind of needed them. But hey, we did survive with 3 lives left. How much rank points did we get? Plus 11, ranked us up to 87. Not bad. But hey, I'm gonna have to leave you here for now. Just want to say thanks for watching, and I hope to keep looking for the next one. I'll see you next time. Okay, we have to do justice for our Rainbow Gooberts. We're back in some round 18 fights. Can we win this round 18 fight? We are facing a Stone Golem with a Thornbloom. We're gonna be stacking max life for days. However, that's much better for us. Hell yeah. Definitely so. Now, can we take on a Paradise Burb Dancing Dragon? I mean, this fella's going to do lots and lots of damage. They're going to resist every bit of debuff we do inflict on, so it is what it is. But that's some crazy damage, and hell yeah. And can we deal with this Burning Blade, Happy Bomb type situation with the Dragon's Net? They're going to get this to pop off really fast, making us take a lot more damage, I should say. But hell yeah, not bad. And can we deal with this crazy heat stacking Frozen Flame type opponent? They're going to be trying to inflict a bunch of cold on us. That's for sure. With our Divine Pulp, we do cleanse pretty much all that cold instantly, and we can do our big damage. And this is much better for us. Hell yeah. Not too bad.